What's happening, people? April 22nd, 2018. This is Doug from Salt Lake. There's fluoride in your water. Don't drink the fluoride. Don't drink the tap water. Anyway, I told you last week I'm going on offense. I wrote a nice little letter to the State Attorney General, Sean Reyes. Okay? And I let him know what's going on. So let's see if I can do this, man, without screwing it up too bad. So this was the first termination letter that I did. Goes into detail about all the CFR, goes into the plan, goes into what they do and how they screw you over. And then I sent an inspection request for all the paperwork. Let's see it. No response. Here's my affidavit of service, affidavit of status, going to Sean Reyes, the Attorney General, just to put him on notice that I am a man. I am not an artificial person. This is some other stuff I put in there about color of law. This is all descriptions and some other stuff. This one here is the complaint claim that I filed. He's getting a copy of this also. And here is my letter to him. I'll stop it so you can... I don't care if you have my address and stuff, man. So, I ain't got no money anyway. Even if you try to get in my bank account, I don't give a shit. There ain't nothing in there. So this is an affidavit of information. Okay? And you can get about 80% of this from Rick's paperwork. If you know who Rick W is, 0327 at me.com. You got to check out his stuff. He knows what he's talking about, and he won his case. And every week he's got another guy that got a dismissal. So he is the god of dismissal. Rick, big shout out. So this was in the paperwork that I got from him 6 months ago, and I went through all my paperwork looking for my some of my file on demands and stuff, and I found this in there. And this is an affidavit of information presented to Sean Reyes, the Attorney General, elected by the people and known as the People's Attorney. Did you know that? They work for us, man. They don't work for these state, but that's all they do is they protect the states. So, if you read it, I'm not going to read it to you. It just says, you can stop it right there and see. Goes into pretty good detail, man, about what they can do, what they're liable for, immunity. So anyway, that's some of it. It goes on and on. So I added some things. I took some stuff out. It's called the Office of Recovery Services here in Utah. So I made it very clear that I will not be dragged into their color of law, kangaroo courts. See, I don't know if you guys understand this, man, but there are two different jurisdictions, man. There's the codes and statutes and provisions and ordinances and all that bullshit. And it's all set up, man, so they can fine you and fee you and regulate you and take your fucking guns and tell you you can't have free speech, and it's all a bunch of bullshit, okay? But nobody knows that because everybody's been brainwashed into thinking that, oh, they can stop you. Oh, did you know that? Shapiro versus Thompson, the right of the individual to travel in their private conveyance upon the common way cannot be infringed. Shapiro versus Thompson. Look it the fuck up, okay? The cops do not have the authority unless you are driving what's called a commercial vehicle. You don't have to register your car. You don't have to stop for these ass bags who are policy enforcers. That's all they want, dude. They want to take your goddamn money so they can go retire in Haiti. Anyway, look it up. Don't get me started with the fucking police, okay? And I think Rick knows this too, man. They cannot stop people in their vehicles, but they're doing it all the time. because everybody's brainwashed to think, well, just stop if you don't have anything to worry about. Well, once they stop and they say, let me see your driver's license and registration, you're then in their jurisdiction and they got your ass. So you got to look it up. Hale versus Henkel. We'll get into that too. That's another one. Hale versus Henkel. Anyway, I'm going to send this to the man. This has got the affidavit of status. This is Exhibit 1. I put everything on numbered and wrote him a little letter here. Told him what's going on. Income withholding order. Sent him a copy of that. It's bogus. It doesn't have any judicial signature. It's completely bogus. I sent him the termination letter that I showed you guys. There's my account summary that shows that I'm a debtor and ORS is a creditor, and how they went from $1,000 to $7,000 in 2 weeks, and all of a sudden, and I can't do shit about it. I mean, it's a lien, and they're in contract with each other. That's how they get away with it. They put a lien on you with the courts, and there's no way to get out of it because you're in their jurisdiction, man. You're in their fees and fines and statutes and codes and provisions and ordinances and regulations. And it's a fucking color of law court, man. It's not a common law court of record. So anyway, let's go back to this real quick before I'm pretty fired up, man, because writing all this up today just makes me even more upset that these motherfuckers are getting away with all this stuff, man. And everybody doesn't know it. And you try to explain to people, and they're just like, no, come on. See that affidavit of status? The Attorney General is bound to his oath of office. And I'm telling you what, dude, I'm going to keep him to his oath of office. Vernice Treese, the judge, she didn't answer me. Okay? Well, that means she's in collusion with them, and she knows. ORS, not one word from them, not one letter saying you owe us, nothing in 6 months. So these people are afraid, okay? And they should be afraid, and they're going to pay for their damages, okay? And the more they are silent, the more fraudulent they are. So I put in a couple of motions to the court, trespass on rights. Well, not to the court. I sent them to the AG. And then some case laws attached. And I want to go over these with you just real quick, man. I don't want this to be real long. But I wrote him and I said that I require you to investigate and respond within 30 days. I've filed a lawsuit and I'm waiting for a response. All parties have lost immunity, and I require you to address this and remedy. And there's the certified mail receipt. And there it is right there. I had it ready to go here. Let me get this out of the way. See that? Going to Sean Ray's. Okay, booyah. That's going out tomorrow. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to go over was I added some case law. And let's see if I can get this right. Sorry, I'm doing it on my phone, dude. But you might want to look some of these up, man. If you rely on prior decisions of the Supreme Court, you have a perfect defense. Okay? The Constitution of the United States is the supreme law. Any law that is repugnant to the Constitution is null and void. That's Marbury versus Madison. Okay? How about Murdoch versus Penn? No state shall convert a liberty into a privilege, license it, and attach a fee to it. Oh, does that sound like the Department of Motor Vehicles? Huh, sure does. If the state converts a liberty into a privilege, the citizen can engage in that right with impunity, which means, fuck you, I can do it whatever I want to do because it's not a law, and it doesn't hurt anybody. And just because you passed a statute doesn't mean it's against the law. Getting it yet? Where rights are secured by the individual are restricted only to the extent they have been voluntarily surrendered. Did you surrender your rights and say ORS? Man, absolutely. I would love to be in contract with you. Can I give you more money every month? No, you didn't. It is unconstitutional. An unconstitutional act is not law. It confers no rights and imposes no duties, affords no protection. Okay? Norton versus Shelby County. Look it up. The claim and exercise of a constitutional right cannot be converted into a crime. Then how do you go to jail for not paying a bogus, void judgment arrears on child support? How do you go to jail for a marijuana cigarette? Let's see, what else do we have here? Poindexter versus Greenhow, waivers of constitutional rights, not only must they be voluntary, they must be knowingly intelligent acts done with sufficient awareness. Did you know that signing that divorce decree was going to let the state child support agency butt fuck you for the next 18 years? Probably didn't know that, did you? But you signed it anyway, didn't you? How about this one? No state legislator or executive or judicial officer can war against the Constitution without violating his undertaking. What's an undertaking? That's his contract. The constitutional theory is that we the people are the sovereign, the state and federal officials are only our agents. They work for us, dude. They're public pretenders. Okay? They're agents. They are employees. Here's some more good stuff here. Involuntary servitude. You know what that is? I'm not going to read that to you. Look it up. United States versus Kaminsky. Whoa, sorry, that was me. A person cannot be bound by a contract. Well, wait a minute. A party cannot be bound by a contract that he's not made or authorized. What? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought because they said I owed them, you had to fucking pay them. Here's some more. Here's void judgments and jurisdiction. Judgment rendered by a court without personal jurisdiction over the defendant is void. It is a nullity. A court cannot confer jurisdiction where none existed and cannot make a void proceeding valid. That's old Wayne Mutt. McDonald, 205 U.S., blah, 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 blah. Look it up. There is no discretion to ignore lack of jurisdiction. Okay? And here I'll just stop them. You can go through them. Defense of lack of jurisdiction over the subject matter may be raised at any time, even on appeal. Once challenged, jurisdiction cannot be assumed. It must be proved. Okay? Where's that one? Oh, here it is. Jurisdiction can be challenged at any time. And jurisdiction, once challenged, cannot be assumed. It must be decided. Huh, look at that. What else we got here? A universal principle as old as the law is that the proceedings of a court without jurisdiction are a nullity, and its judgments therein are without effect either on the person or the property. Norwood versus Renfield. Okay? How about thus? Where a judicial tribunal has no jurisdiction, the subject matter in which it assumes to act and its proceedings are absolutely void. Okay? How about this one? Oh, this is a great one. A court has no jurisdiction to determine its own jurisdiction. Oh, what? So when you walk in there and they say, well, we have jurisdiction. Really? Prove it. Well, I have it. Okay, well, prove it. When a judge acts where he or does not have jurisdiction, the judge is engaged in an act or acts of treason. Huh. This is where it gets silly right here, man. When a judge knows that he lacks jurisdiction or acts in the face of clearly valid statutes expressly depriving him of jurisdiction, judicial immunity is lost. Okay? That means these punk-ass commissioners and magistrates and all the people at the child support agency, they're administrative, bro. They're fucking secretaries. They're clerks. They're not judges. They don't have the authority or the jurisdiction to do what they're doing. Okay? Here's a good one. Look at this. What is that? Dred Scott versus Sanford. The state citizen is immune from any and all government attacks and procedures, absent a contract. Gee, I'd really like to see the contract between me and the Office of Recovery Services. Corpus delicti, do you know what that is? Consisting of the occurrence of a specific kind of injury. Injury in fact. Oh, hey, well, I think we talked about that, didn't we? To establish the corpus delicti, independent evidence must be presented showing the occurrence of a specific kind of injury. What did I do, man? Who's the damaged party to the ORS? Huh? There's a Clearfield doctrine. Look that up, too. Okay? Governments descend to a level of a mere private corporation. So, the government is not untouchable. They are a corporation. You can sue them. Okay? Now, here's some stuff about state employees. They don't get in immunity. It is the duty of all officials, whether legislative, judicial, executive, administrative, or ministerial, to so perform every official act as not to violate Constitution provisions or the Constitution. You know? Whatever you want. Now, what else we got here? There's tyranny has no existence, monitors, we have no officers in the government, from the president down to the most subordinate agent who does not hold office, preside duties with limited authority. Okay? This is Owens versus City of Independence. Whereas officials and even judges have no immunity. Huh. Officials and judges that are deemed to know the law and sworn to uphold the law. Officials and judges cannot claim to act in good faith in a willful deprivation of law. Anyway, man, that's 17 minutes. All right, here's Hale versus Henkel. Okay, I'll just stop this here for you. Decided by the Supreme Court, the individual can stand on his constitutional rights, and he has the power to contract with whoever the fuck he wants to, and who he doesn't want to. Okay? It's never been overturned. Look it up. All right, you guys. Peace.